Alright, time for another... No, that's the wrong one. Welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings Here in Mendham. Yeah. Fish again. I'm using it just... yes, as a triggering mechanism. I guess as a thinking mechanism. Making a comparison, seeing the similarities between the social circumstance, the human race, its condition, it has a nice parallel that, we came from fish. The fish is where we start having all of the features that we sort of have now. Yeah, our arms were a lot shorter, and, different things were a little different, but basically the design is there. Something that has these eyeballs and goes searching through the world for something interesting. And each one has its own little brain, its own navigating system, but they sort of fall into a pattern of similarities. Now, theirs is a lot more genetic, but they are socialized. You'll see fish that are, they think they're some other kind of fish, and they'll hang out with the other kind of fish because they sort of think they're another kind of fish. So you see these oddities and the strays, and some of them are just built insanely different, and you could just kind of argue that that's sort of like what happens to human beings as they're matured and maturated in different environments. They end up acquiring that kind of features. So you could take some of these physical features of fish and you could just convert that into a recognition of the different psychologies of of human, the different cultures, and some are quite disfigured by their culture. There's fish at night called moonfish, just bizarre alien looking things with flat heads and just strange as hell. And they come out at night, which is weird. And they're roundish and, lots of things. And it's just kind of funny. But just too weird. And even in their behavior is weird. I mean, it's, weird. I bet the other fish are like mocking them. They're so aberrant and unfish-like. Like, why do they bother having the features? Because they're not even using them. They're just kind of floating around, looking at the ground all the time, and I mean, just too weird. Anyway, shouldn't talk about fish I'm not showing. I should show the moonfish. I guess I could, but I'm not going to back up. It's too much trouble to... Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It's not terribly important. So anyway, yeah, somehow I'm going to get to a comparison to fake Sagan, by starting with bizarre fish. But that's, sort of the story is how do human beings get so screwed up? I mean, they're all doing the same thing. They're all in the same environment, and it's just kind of strange how it all kind of niches, and every little bit of the possible space we can fill, we have to fill or something. I mean, there's no real evolutionary drive taking place. We're not doing any strict survive based on, genetics or something. That's not deciding who survives and who doesn't in the world anymore. It has to do with a bunch of saved resources and who gets to live in the fancy buildings and who has to live out in the, the woods. And, lots of things are deciding that have nothing to do with your physical fitness. Just some sort of circumstantial political decisions, and just really nothing to do with anything that's being tested. We've broken all the testing mechanisms and created some bizarre new ones. Where your inheritance is you inherit something other than genetic code. You inherit money in the bank. Things that don't have anything to do with a component that's going to be built into you, that you're going to create new people that have money in the bank kind of idea, and there's no necessary connection. So in some respects, the civilized cultures are becoming physically weaker, because they they are dependent on the medical industrial complex to keep them alive as children even. And, they survive all kinds of things that the poor people don't get to survive. So there's a whole bunch of whatever you want to call it. See, there's a bizarre fish. You're just saying, what the fuck is that? What the hell? What the hell does it think it's doing? It just ought to give up. I mean, it's so pathetically strange. You're just saying, how is that survivable? I mean, there's a barracuda right over there. Why doesn't it just say, oh, there's an easy, free lunch? But anyway, so you could just go through all the intricacies of the biodiversity and how it is all connected, and how, well, if you lay enough eggs, not a problem. And if you're willing to eat if you're physically constructed to eat absolute garbage, and then if your blood is full of poison, then you can get away with it. Anyway, and they're just saying you can make comparisons to institutions that we've created that are going to create bizarre fish, because we're deciding the evolution of a society and a culture based on how, what eggs we take care of and what ones we don't, and which ones are laying too many of them or a lot of them, and which ones aren't, and all of this kind of crap, and where a kid is likely to be born in the world and under what circumstances. So anyway, I do intend to get to some sort of more coherent. There's a barracuda going by. I guess they don't. Well, there's no. It's just do a bunch of fish stuff. I think that other fish, that weird looking one, was called a filefish. It's, some sort of. I would just call him spotted, because that seems like ice obviously spotted. Anyway, but that was a barracuda that went by. So anyway, yeah, so, getting into some sort of human discussion, about, why, just the fact that we are so diverse. I mean, there's groups of people you can just put into a class, you can do this generalization, you can profile them, and so there's a whole bunch of people, like the minnows in the back there, the bait fish, the sheeple types, who are just minding their own business pretty much. They don't have anything to say much. They don't have, they just have their little, simple occupations. They have a simple plan for their life. Bake a cake, eat a cake, not very complicated. And then you have the other half of the population, let's say, that their interests are more specific and more obvious, like they're picking stuff off of the poles, or they're doing this, or they have some other behavior that sticks out a little bit more, because it's not in that big giant group of monotony. And then you have the real strange stuff, that's just, also sticks out just because it's strange. It has a look, it has some style, and so it gets paid attention to just because it's more stylish, by some current definition. You could say we have a lot of that, whether you compare it to, like, the fame of movie, Hollywood, and then the fame of sports. These are all ways of becoming flashy, and interesting to the eye of the other fish, and they have been turned by culture into some sort of iconish thing, something we should see merit in, but it's not doing anything. There is no merit. It's doing the same thing everybody else is doing, which is, the cake bakers are trying to make the best cake. Everybody's trying to do their little thing to be, in some way important, or significant, and they all have a different definition of it. Obviously the people baking cakes don't think much of the people, quilting all day, trying to make the greatest quilt in the world. The people with You know, the woodworker, you know, carving his little woods or something. Some, you know, they're all kind of mockable from the other people's perspective as, wow, what a waste of time that is. But to each little group, that's an important thing. You know, and so relating it back to sort of fake Sagan, you know, he's he's become an extreme gun nut. You know, he's just, you know, he just the precious, you know, his guns, and it's just, you know, it's from, you know, on my perspective, it's just almost laughable that these loony gun nuts are going to do anything with these guns. You know, and we already saw, you know, the whole fiasco of the revolution that took place, you know, the Trumpers, you know, storming the Capitol, and it's, you know, in their costumes, you know, and what did they do? Oh, I stole the little hammer, and, you know, they just stole stuff, you know, and you know, if they had the power, yeah, okay, maybe they would have hung the vice president and, you know, held some of the Congress people at hostage, but would they have accomplished? No, nothing to accomplish. You know, they have no mission statement besides being disruptive and expensive. I mean, they're just trying to break windows like looters. And that's the funny thing, you know, is that they want to shoot the looters, and they are just as clueless. They're just as unproductive as the car flipper overs, you know, and the burning the stores down and the rest of it. They have they have they don't have clue one about how to fix anything. You know, they're just saying there's too many damn fish, there's too many weird fish, there's too many fish I don't like. Well, it's the ocean, you know. You're not going to fix that. So you're going to have to learn how to deal with it. And you know, what's your solution? Should we put all the different fish in different cages, you know? So all the different fish will force ourselves to become segregated and purebred fish, you know, so we don't dilute any of our, you know, we don't like the idea that there's other fish that have spots on their tails now, you know, those kind of fish, you know, those weird fish have spots now because they're perverting our purity, blah, 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 you know. So really, you know, it's just kind of ironic. I mean, it's, you know, that these are the people that are, you know, they're going to protect us. They're the anti-fascists. Yeah, I don't think so. You know, who are complaining about the Jews and the blacks and the, you know, it's just too funny. Because, yeah, nobody wants these people running the show, you know. It's they're scary as fuck, and they're proud of it, which is the funny part. So I guess we'll do some fake Sagan stuff just because, yeah, fish are nice, but they're not the real subject. All right, should be back. So fake Sagan. So this video has been made after the whole fiasco of the right wing, demonstrating that they're scary as fuck. You know, they haven't got a single clue, and they're just looking for targets. You know, they're looking for a scapegoat to shoot and kill. They think they can fix things by just fighting, period. Just storm the Capitol. There, we did the job. We fixed everything. You know, they don't have, you know, like I said, they haven't even thought about what their responsibility would be in turning things, in causing change, and how you do that, and, you know, what the fact that it's all tied together and the whole thing's woven, you know, and you pull one thread and the whole thing starts to unravel. They just don't have any clue at all. And so, you know, just as a piece of psychology, you know, fake Sagan is an interesting character because he just proves the frailty of human brain function. You know, goes from being, you know, a nihilist, self-interested son of a bitch asshole to being this fake Christian love person, you know, who wants to, you know, shower us with his love bullets. You know, it's just too insane, right? For Jesus, I own guns for Jesus. I have my bulletproof vest on for Jesus, right? Because I have such faith that, you know, God's got a plan. And the plan is I'm supposed to pick up a bunch of AK-47s and spew bullets all over the place. I mean, it makes Jesus so fail. I mean, he says things like, you know, fuck the Jews and fuck this and fuck that. Yeah, well, fuck you. Fuck you and your Jesus, you fake phony. You know, I mean, fuck your Jesus if this is the kind of asshole he has, you know, waving his flag. So this is the anti-fascist, and they have, like, it's all the symbology, right? He's got the same, he's flying his little flag, right? Isn't that the first thing to scare the fuck out of you, is some asshole who's standing in front of a flag? You know, no, stand in front of a principle of some kind, but your stupid flags? I mean, fuck that shit. And his guns, you know, and his I'm ready to die for my cause of just being an asshole. So it's just no evolution at all. He went from a hideously deformed fish to a hideously deformed fish. I mean, he didn't upgrade. You know, and yeah, you just marvel at it and say, boy, this task being here on with humans and trying to reason with them, oh, it's pathetically impossible. It's you know, all you can do is endeavor to persevere, because it's just, whoa, this job is just so difficult. I mean, what magic words can you use to point out to these people that, you know, you're not fighting for anything real here? You don't even know what you believe in. I mean, do you believe in government or you don't? You think it all works out just fine if people just do whatever the fuck they want? You don't think you have to kind of organize the system a little bit, or the barracudas will eat the other fish, and this will happen, and all these things will happen if you don't put some limits on it. You have to control the capitalism. You know, you have to control things or it gets way out of hand. You know, because there's all kinds of ways for it to go bad. There's all kinds of ways for the car, you know, if no one steers it, there's all kinds of bad it can do. You know, nothing's good going to come from that kind of philosophy. And, you know, understanding that we'll have to have some process. So, yeah, let's not have a bunch of assholes in control. You know, and let's try to have a system where, you know, you have to persuade other people, you know. And so if you have a good argument, you should be able to persuade them. And this should take care of the idiocracy, you know. It's the smart people who are failing the idiocracy, right? I mean, the idiots, okay, are idiots. But the smart people should be able to talk to the idiots in some way to make them understand, okay, that they're on the wrong side. You know, we should be able to convince these people to, you know, put down your guns and your, you know, your save me first vests, or whatever they are, you know, protect me because I believe in God vest. I mean, it's just so silly. Quit being a hypocrite. Quit, you know, flying these painted pieces of crap flaggy things. You know, Jesus is just another flag. It's just another, you know, sense of I belong to something, but you don't belong to any of the principles. You really don't accept any of them. You really don't believe them. You know, I mean, this whole fake conversion of, you know, somebody who, you know, am I supposed to believe that fake Sagan doesn't believe in evolution, right? I mean, to have any real faith in this whole God bullshit, you really have to just say fuck evolution, fuck the whole idea that happened. You know, we really didn't start as fish, and there really wasn't billions of years of evolution, and there really wasn't any of this dinosaurs and all the rest of this stuff happened. I mean, you know, no, of course not. You can't believe that he believes that. You know, so, you know, what is this? This is a game you play. This is the image. This is the pretense, you know, of a, you know, it's just so hard to even understand how people can be this duplicitous and, you know, full of shit, you know, and still function like they have something called integrity, or, you know, that they're doing something they can feel proud of. I'm deceiving other people. So anyway, so in this video, it might even be in, I don't know, it's the other video, I guess. Well, he's all proud because he converted somebody, you know, to being a Christian. That somehow I don't know exactly how. I don't know what the magic words were. I don't watch enough of the video, so I have no clue. So I didn't even, you know, haven't even watched this, frankly. Maybe we'll play some of it. I mean, right at this point, he's talking about, how he doesn't want to kill anybody. You know, that this has some other purpose, which is just hilarious. You know, because he wants to kill the government and replace it with what? Bearded mullahs standing in front of their holy cloth, you know, preaching their religion. Oh yeah, we need some more of those. We need some more loonies, you know, Muslims in the country, you know, who, you know, just the Jesus version of crazy Muslim. But just so anyway, it's a daunting task dealing with all this diversity thing, you know, and it really shouldn't be. I mean, yes, as people we do have different looks, you know, clearly. So like fish, you know, we do look bizarre. You know, there's people who are, you know, really short, and there's people who are really tall. There's lots of diversity in how we physically look, and somehow that's a problem for people even to overcome. And I can't say I'm immune to it. I mean, I definitely have aesthetic taste, you know, and I definitely see things as attractive and unattractive, and I find that disturbing in some respects, just because it does create a bias, you know, that's just innate. Yeah, you're kind of rooting for the things that look like they belong versus the things that don't look like they belong. You don't want more. It's just like if you have a garden, you know, and you have some flowers you don't like too much, or some weeds or something, you know, it's, you want more flowers, less weeds. You know, you don't want to really look at the weeds. You don't even want to know they exist. And you know, but you know, we're so far from being that dumb to think that, you know, because we want it to be that way, we can make it that way. And so, you know, everybody can already understand how the world is constructed, you know, and there's just all these countries, and they all have their own heritage, and you know, he's sort of in love with that stuff. He's always pointing out how he's Irish and therefore has an excuse to be an alcoholic and you know, a drug addict, you know, like it's in his blood or something. Just more funny stuff, you know, more hypocrisy, you know, like Jesus was, you know, handing out liquor, you know, coming to town with a big liquor wagon. You know, I don't think so. He kind of said, yeah, if you're done, you know, if you got leprosy, yeah, go ahead, have a drink, because yeah, you have nothing to live for. But otherwise, you know. But anyway, side subject. I mean, it's just all that, you know, like I said, it's just amazing that somebody can think of themselves. I mean, they can take on a name, you know, the Jesus thing. I'm doing the Jesus thing, and they can do it so fucking badly, and think they're orthodox, you know, like they're really, you know, completely Jesus-y. And this is what he's doing to it. You know, this is what he's doing to Jesus. Is, you know, making videos saying might makes right. Look, government, look how expensive it's going to be for you to be safe. And he's saying it overtly in this video. He's saying to his other gun nut friends, show your guns, intimidate them, you know, make them know that you're here to cause trouble. You know, that if they ever try to do anything to civilize you monkeys, you know, us monkeys, these monkeys who want to just take advantage, that no, we're not going to accept any laws, no rules, no regulations, you know, we're going to live in shit. Yeah, a shit civilization, you know, run by the local mullah, you know, that's the world we want, you know. And he was overtly saying, this is which I wish to impose on you. You know, I wish to destroy civilization and any kind of hope of having a system where the meek will inherit the earth. You know, where the smartest and the best, in that sense, have control, and instead just turn it into some brute society. You know, I'll just punch the bitch in the face and she'll do what I tell her to do. He wants this control. So he can't control anything, and so he's got to exercise it wherever he can. But the funny part is, like I said, you know, it's just, the funny part is that fake Sagan never seemed like a complete imbecile. And how stupid do you have to be? So you've just seen how, you know, the Trumpers kind of really fucked over the Republican Party, in the sense that they're scared of them. Okay, that's all they are. They're afraid of them now. And you've just pointed out how even Republicans have good reason to be afraid of you people. Because they know when the real issues start coming up. You know, the Republicans just care about money, okay? The Republicans in power, they just care about money, all right? All the other stuff doesn't matter. They don't give a shit about religion, all that kind of crap. They don't do any missionary work. You know, they're not trying to convert anybody. You know, all of that's just placating, okay? So they don't give a shit about any of your religious themes at all. They just care about the money. Where's the money? Okay, that's show me the money. That's all they care about. And you know, obviously, all of these gun nuts, all of these little kooky right-wingy nutballs that stormed the Capitol, these weren't rich people. These are all a bunch of, you know, trailer trash, you know, bozos. You know, they couldn't even buy really cool costumes. You know, and you know, so do you think the Republican Party is saying, oh yeah, these guys are going to be on my side when push comes to shove, when the war really becomes about some sort of equity in ownership of the world and possession? You think these guys know that when, you know, when it's really known that the revolution is about making, you know, the rich property owners, you know, like the American Revolution was really just about, you know, a bunch of elitists who wanted to be like lords in England. They wanted to own great, vast pieces of America for themselves, you know, to get rich. And unfortunately, you know, the common man sort of took the theme over, and they knew they couldn't, you know, but that's what their intentions were. You know, all of this sacred bullshit was just sacred. It was just bullshit. You know, they weren't that honorable in the deal they were selling the suckers. You know, you can be a lord too. You know, it really was a war of mercenaries. And they know that these mercenaries, okay, they're not going to be on the billionaire side when it really counts. And so they're afraid of you too. So you're here, you have a circumstance where you're saying to the liberals who believe in some sort of idea of getting to some real civilization, to doing things in some kind of real way that is empathetic, decent, fair, you know, all those kind of themes are important. And you're clearly saying you're not for that, okay? You know, not at all. And you're just you're just saying, I'm a threat. I'm a threat. I'm a threat. You're just waving your hand saying, I'm a threat. And you're not just saying it to some liberal who doesn't like anti-Semites, you know, and doesn't like racists. You're saying it, you know, to the people who you think, you know, are somewhere connected to your values in some way. But they're not connected to them in any way at all. And they're just, like I said, you're scaring Republicans now. They've seen you do it. I mean, you did it right in their face. You made them run away and hide. Okay, so, you know, all those people you think, you know, are you know, you've just made, you know, they know, okay, yeah, we did this whole guns are great thing, and we're supported all of these gun rights, but, you know, they're seeing the backlash, you know, and they're seeing it right in your video. And they're seeing that they're just going to use these guns to assassinate us too. You know, you see it because, you know, it's like these Republican senators go through airports and people are heckling them, you know, in the airport. That's how bold they are now too. And so, what do you think's going to, you know? Do you really think, you know, I mean, if I was a politician, I'd be wearing a helmet in public. You know, I'd be in my bulletproof vest. Because I'd say these loonies are spread all over the place, you know. I'm not going to do anything in the public. Fuck that. You know, unless I got Secret Service all the way around me, fuck it. I'm not doing anything. I'm not going anywhere. You know. It happened the other day. Schumer was doing I wanted to play the video. Schumer was doing, you know, he's doing this, whatever, this bullshit. He's you know, these people are so dumb. So it's like, you know, so you can't, it's so hard to defend the left just because they're so fucking dumb. You know, first they want to stop Trump from getting elected again. You know, that's why they want to impeach him. No, you impeach him because he's a lying sack of scum who's cheated everything he's ever done. But you don't sit there and tell people you can't vote for him. I mean, that's just so stupid. If people want to elect a complete imbecile, well, that's democracy, liberals. That's right. They should have the right to do that, you fucking idiots. But anyway, so he's doing a press conference on the fucking sidewalk, right? Because he thinks he want to be of the people, you know. So yeah, I'm going to do my press conferences on the sidewalk, and some. Which was bizarre. You know, you didn't know at first it was a transvestite, but apparently a right-wing sympathetic transvestite starts heckling the fuck out of him, calling him a racist and doing all this stuff, and nobody can. And so yeah, this is how it came out. You know that it's you know, a person with identity issues. I'm a protected class. I'm a protected class. You can't touch me. You can't touch me. 6 feet. 6 feet. You know, it's playing all these games. And it's just sitting here doing this disruptive, obnoxious thing. You know, so fucking rude. So typical of just a, you know, one of these rampaging looters that they want to shoot. You know, just so tipping a car over nonsense. You know, that you think this is how it's supposed to work, that everybody's just supposed to do this, heckling. Oh, yeah, that's so civilized. Yeah, no, that's exactly what, you know, that's exactly what you have to get rid of to have a system that works, you know, to have any kind of continuity. You have to have some sort of integrity here. So they're not fighting to preserve honesty and integrity. They're just trying to preserve, I don't know what it is. Like, I can't even call it something. Chaos theory, you know, it's just scapegoating. So the bottom line is they want simple answers to complex problems. The complex problem is this is our reality. Human beings are a certain way. The wrong, you know, lots of people are creating new humans in really bad way. They're not properly fertilizing. You know, the plants are all genetically fucked up. You know, so yeah, we're growing a lot of rotten humans. And you know, and that's a part of the cultural problem, is this weed that stuff out. But you can't just pull the weeds and kill the weeds or do any of that stuff. You have to create a system that over time, you know, you encourage the good growth and you discourage the bad growth. You have to do it in some sort of rational way. And he wants this, you know, I just want this simple, I pull the trigger way, you know. So clearly he's, you know, got a very, you know, it's just part of his ego, I guess, that, well, if I can do nothing else, I'll just make a big mess. Okay, I'll just vomit on it. And means that nobody else can eat their dinner and nobody else can use the, you know, nobody can use the car, you know, because I'll soil it so disgustingly. And so he just wants to be expensive. And so that's all these guys are really doing, is they're just threatening us, saying, I'm going to be very expensive to civilization. That is, I might kill some cops, I might do some stuff that's going to be really expensive, you know, because I don't want to comply with some simple rule that says, well, you have to hit, you know, you have to file a form, you know, a piece of paper, and you have to fill it out and sign your name and put your social security number on it. Yeah, you know, there's some rule. I'm just not going to obey the rules, you know. And he's going to kill people over it. For Jesus. Inspired by the Lord. His God. You know, that's what his God has inspired him to do, is to love his tequila bottle and his guns. So booze and guns. So again, just more, like I said, the video is just emphasizing he's a drunk, okay, a drug addict, and a gun nut. And he's saying, oh yeah, all the great Republicans will understand me. You know, they'll you know, they get that. No, they don't get that. No, that's not what they want. Like I said, I don't think Mike Pence is sitting around going, hey, this is all going really well. You know, we got all these little, you know, crazy people ready to go shoot some stuff. Isn't that so cool? Because, you know, like I said, he heard them. You know, they're going to hang him for almost a non-existent violation of the code. A truly non-existent violation of the code. So, I mean, it's just so much work to do here on Earth in terms of attempting to, you know, communicate and say, look, it's life is going to, yes, it's difficult, but you can't sit there and try to form the world into what you want. As much as that seems like it makes sense because you seem to think you're going to be here forever and that your distaste for the way things are is going to be here forever, it's really not. You know, the new people will grow up with different sensibilities, and it might not, it doesn't even have to be an issue to them. It maybe, you know, won't in any way be an issue for them. And, you know, so it's not going to be as ugly as you think it is, because your taste isn't their taste. It won't be the future's taste. They won't have the same problem you have in accepting change. And in theory, you know, eventually you get to some point where things will be able to get past the crisis of having to become a melting pot, and to give up on this idea of having physical identity, you know, because it really doesn't serve any purpose. It isn't very functional. It doesn't do us any good. It doesn't make it possible for the ocean of fish to grow up and, you know, become civilized and, you know, stop, you know, pissing in the water, you know, the drinking water. All right, so where else to go with this? Well, yeah, cause I could play a little bit of it, but yeah, it's just, you know, it's just so bizarre that fake Sagan, and he says how much he feels so much better, and he's so much more actualized as one of the nuts.
Playing video games, doing anything else I enjoy. This is a duty. This is. I've always been a political gun owner.
Yes, a political gun owner, whatever that means. You know, when again you know, you can read the Constitution and you can recognize that the Second Amendment is full of a whole bunch of rhetoric. It's a very qualified statement about how great guns are. And clearly it was only qualified because they didn't want to say guns are great. They didn't want to say, you know, everybody pick up a gun, everybody love your gun, everybody, no, that's not what they wanted to say. They wanted to be able to say, hey, it's a peaceful world. Let's all just relax, chill, you know, play video games, do something else, polish something else, care for something else. All right, invest in something else. And again, these were sort of religious nuts too, you know, and they had every reason to want to put in something like, you know, have faith, you know, God's not going to let anything wrong happen. Okay, we're not here to fix it. He's here. We're supposed to just fix ourselves. As long as we're not doing anything stupid, everything's supposed to work out just fine. So you're really not supposed to worry about that future place, because the good and the bad is going to be filtered by God. He's going to make those judgments. He's going to take care of it. So it's not your job to enforce his will. You know, maybe that should have been an amendment. But, you know, so it's not even, it doesn't have any political integrity. The politics of we all have to be capable of telling the law that we're not going to obey it, and will be really expensive for not obeying it. Right? I mean, but that's, you know, sort of the Branch Davidian kind of philosophy, right? I'm going to rape my daughters, right? I'm going to actually rape my own daughters, and the way I'll protect myself from a law that says I can't do that is I'll fill a bus full of bombs and grenades and guns and shit, and that way the government can't tell me I can't rape my own daughters. He looks the part, right? Why don't you just tell us about your 7 seals next? You know, why don't you give us your holy Messiah insight as a true disciple? God has probably spoken to you and given you all kinds of insights into how things should be. But I mean, God, you just couldn't be pantomiming, you know, more perfectly as just the most, you know. Yes, you are scary. You have effectively done your job. You're scary as fuck.
That's why I've got them. Let there be no fucking mystery about it. It has everything to do with civic responsibility.
No, it has everything to do with some sort of penis dysfunction. Sorry, you guys, there's no chance you're selling that to me. Okay, that is just too much of a funny joke. You would want all the other kooky fish to be doing the same thing. And you'd think that'll all work out just fine. Ugh, pathetic.
That's what it's about. And I want the feds to know about my shit.
Right, well, that's your stupid part. I'm just saying, I mean, not that I want to give these people any clues strategically, but here you are making a public video. Basically, I'm sure all of the Congress in secret have all had their little discussions that, oh, we got to watch these guys. So, yes, whoever's controlling the FBI, we got to follow these fuckers, all right, because they're really gotten out of hand, obviously. And so you're just saying, okay, yes, put me on the watch this guy list. And and they'll know this is one of these guys that, okay, go out and arrest him for a taillight violation. Arrest him at work. Arrest him somewhere else other than his house, because because he's going to be expensive. All right. So all you're saying is I'm an expensive retard. You're just saying I'm going to make you stopping me from being defiant very expensive, and that's all he's saying. Because he just has no other function. He knows he's dysfunctional, and now he says, I'm going to be the atomic bomb of dysfunctional. I'm going to be such a perfectly wonderful dysfunctional thing. So he's entered this anti-Olympics of, I'm not going to do anything of merit with my existence. No, I'm just going to be the biggest pile of expensive I can be. And that's it. But he's overtly extorting us, overtly.
I want them to see my shit. I want them to look at this. This is what's going to be in your face when you try to do some fucking totalitarian shit.
Oh yeah, like what? This totalitarian shit will be what? I have to submit my Social Security number to get my whatever check. I mean, what's the, he's so afraid, right? And he was complaining about social media. Oh, like this should be your problem. Like you should be expecting the corporations to create a mechanism for you to, function in their media when their name's on it. I mean, if people don't understand that corporations have always been try not to offend anybody. That's their mission. They want to sell their cake mix to everybody they can. So they don't want to put on it Nazi cake mix. And they don't want to put on it Israeli cake mix. We love Israel. They don't want to put that on it either. They don't want to put anything on it that identifies it as something that people need to be bothered by or offended by. So of course they're going to have rules that tend to say, well, let's not create a whole bunch of fighting, because in the fighting process we're not going to get anywhere. We're going to offend our customers rather than provide for our customers. So obviously it's not a very good system. But did fake Sagan, when push came to shove, when it was time to vote for let's have government regulation or let's provide a public choice, did he do any of that? Did he pull any of those levers that would have provided the protections that would say these are innate rights, and that if we're going to have an internet, well, we're going to have part of the internet that guarantees people certain liberties? But nowhere, but the expectation that any part of the world would sit there and say, any government would say, yes, we're going to give you the tools to plot the overthrow of the government. Do you think the founding fathers figured that's what free speech meant, is that you collect in the public square with your guns and plot the overthrow of the government? Do you really think that's what they were saying? Well, you're really stupid.
This is it. That's it. That's what you're going to be looking at. And trust me, my ammo's very good.
Oh, again, so like you really think that you can kill them all. You really think you can do that. You're going to be smarter than all of them. You're going to stay awake all hours of the night with your gun. And no one's ever going to be able to sneak up on you, or no one's going to be able to whack you with a baseball bat or shoot you with an arrow, or in some other way disable you. You're going to be the indestructible man. Good luck with that. I dig a hole in the ground, you know. I put some little, you know, like the Vietnamese. I put a bunch of spikes in the trees or something, you know.
I got the Gucci shit.
So even that's kind of a lame way to metaphor it, right? Like Gucci shit is actually good shit when it's just expensive shit that makes rich people richer. You know, rich people hoodwinking rich people.
So, you know, like everybody's been wrong-headed about all this stuff from day one, and I've just been talking and talking and talking to my fucking self.
Clearly, okay, yeah, and it's been a really bad conversation. But yeah, I don't understand how, you know, I guess the whole isolation thing maybe is part of what's gone wrong, but I can't even blame that. I think isolation, frankly, is good for people. People aren't really good for people. But yeah, I'm just saying, I mean, I wouldn't want to just hang out with fake Sagan. I mean, a drunk with way too many guns. Yeah, no, I'm not hanging out there. I mean, that's just asking for trouble, right?
Like, I'm sorry to sound cocky and arrogant, but like, when you can back...
You sound crazy and you look crazy and all your activities indicate crazy. I mean, like I said, this is like watching Muslim television or something. I mean, when are you going to put the black hood on and, you know, cut somebody's head off? And where do I see some indication that you are something other than some kind of insane, crazy, fanatical kook who's doing everything he's doing for all kinds of wrong reasons, who just has no clue what a constructive act is? You know, actually doing something for some other reason than you have some personal psychiatric issue, some sense of guilt or inferiority that you're trying to overcome with your big gun.
Back it up.
Even your laugh is getting woof. Ayatollah.
You know, like I fucking warned you guys about this shit. No, you're not going to be Rambo now. You're not going to get a rifle now. So you know, is this video just to like rub it in your face? No, it's, you know, it's part of this stupid Western cult of individuality that like.
So I guess he's lecturing the other gun nuts now and telling them, see, I got you so beat. I am the man. I'm the gun man. Yeah. So he's just trying to show off, you know, to the other gun nuts that, yeah, I got you way outgunned.
Like everybody has to be the Renaissance man who can do everything, right? Because a lot of people I know have that mindset. They're like, hey, bro, I got all the guns, right? I got all the guns. I got all the survival gear. I said, I'm a one-man
lunatic. That's the word you're looking for. You know, I mean, realistically, again, you can't win the war from your position, your one-man position. You can't win from there. There's too many ways to catapult a dead cow into your water, you know.
I'm a one-man Jamestown colony, right? I'm just going to go into the woods and fucking survive on my own with everything. No, different people are going to serve different roles. If you're...
Oh, isn't that swell? Thank you. Are you going to decide what role we all get to play? Yeah. So you got the anti-fascists telling us we're role players.
Too late on guns and you missed that boat, and you didn't train and you didn't develop muscle memory and all that shit. For one thing, do yourself a favor and don't just crack open your big wallet and buy something that you don't know how to use, because you're going to get killed.
Oh, whatever. This is, again, you know, we already have your history with guns and how much you gave a damn about anything like a sensible safety rule. Yeah. I mean, you know, people who don't know the history, I mean, it really is funny. Even knives, I mean, he almost cut his fucking hand off doing his I'm a man. Look, I can cut my fucking wrist. Yeah, because I'm a man.
Learn it. Do something else that's useful for the people, right?
So he's for the people. Do you get that feeling? Do the rest of you get this glow of how he's for the people? Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a real for the people person. All right, anyway, enough of this. Whatever it is, insidious crap. So anyway, so I did do a video on the Do Not God channel during the week, and it can only be viewed there. So if you care, I don't know. I don't remember what it was about. Maybe not all that. I know it had fish in it too. So yeah, that'd be a theme for a little while, just because I really have found myself, it's almost painful to watch the fish, because you just, it is just so obvious how we're still stuck. We're still stuck with a fish brain. Just doing this little picking around, like, what can I do? What can I get out of this environment? This feeding thing, this constant seeking. And it's, and then the idea, the understanding that it all comes to some fatal, horrible end. Something starts, the worms start eating you, something starts eating you, and then you're struggling and you're fighting, and then you're really in trouble. It's all downhill from there, and then the medical industrial complex gets you. Starts shoving its hoses into you. Ugh, just too hideous. Frightening place, this planet. So, so that's how I'll call it a day. So, till the next time and such, so forth and whatnot. Yeah. It's enough. So we'll call it a day. See you next time. Or not. Yeah, it's really, that's the other part of this. It's just sort of sad to see, is the old, 15-year ago YouTube, and all the characters have diminished, and they're all falling apart in some way or another, and it's just kind of sad, that a vitality just seems to have drained out of the internet. And it's, lamentable. But I'm still here, and I'll still endeavor to persevere and such. So until the next time, when I'll do some more of that. The end. I just have the end thing that pops up. Yeah, I have to work on my presentation skills. But anyway. There's something left undone, because there's something saying to me, nope. Yeah, you didn't finish. But I think I did. I think I've said, there's just no way you can't just sum it up in a word. I could sum it up, fish. That's how, yeah. Dumb fish. We just distill dumb fish. But, we have so much knowledge. We have so much. With, Hubble telescope, all this technology, we can see things, we can know the world, microscopes, all kinds of stuff. We can know the truth, and here the world is still just running to the bullshit. Ugh. So sad. Tragic is what it is. Tragic. That's the word. Tragic. I probably should put that in here. Probably is already in here. Cruel. And then it might say tragic. Let's see what the next word is. Oh, impositional. Yeah. Ugh. The fascism is everywhere. Alright, till the next time. Such.